Rocky Mountain National Park is known all over the nation for its stunning scenery, wildlife, and outdoor activities. But many people don't know the rich history of the founding of this park and how it played a huge role in the conservation movement of the early 20th century. Before the land was established as a national park, it had many uses. For centuries, the Ute tribe called it their home, and as white settlers arrived in the Rockies, they found it rich with gold, so many mines were set up as well as homesteads. Our story begins in the nearby town of Estes Park with a man, Enos Mills, who's been called the father of Rocky Mountain National Park. Enos moved to Estes as a young boy and quickly took an interest in the surrounding land as well as conservation. He eventually decided to focus his efforts on conserving the land and turning it into a national park. He toured around the country, spreading national attention to conservation and the Rockies by giving speeches and writing newspaper articles. Another prominent figure in this movement was F.O. Stanley, who built the Stanley Hotel. But decades before it was used to inspire Stephen King's novel, it was built to attract tourists to the Rockies. Stanley was already a wealthy man, and he used that wealth to establish the park. But he had a personal interest in the establishment, as the park would bring many visitors to his new hotel. Stanley worked very closely with Mills to lobby Congress to establish Rocky Mountain. Another important person in the founding of Rocky Mountain National Park was Isabella Berg. She wrote the book, A Lady's Life in the Rocky Mountains, which was sold nationally and brought national attention to the land. While she did not live to see the park be established, she was one of the first people who sparked this movement. For years, Enos Mills, F.O. Stanley, and many other Estes Park residents lobbied for the establishment of Rocky Mountain National Park. In 1915, their efforts finally paid off when President Woodrow Wilson signed the Rocky Mountain National Park Act, officially making Rocky Mountain a national park. On September 4th of 1915, Rocky Mountain National Park was officially dedicated. Residents of Estes Park were very happy with the establishment of the park, as many were interested in land conservation and saw the natural beauty of the park, and it brought tourism, which boosted the small mountain town's economy. But Rocky Mountain National Park was just a small part in the overall movement to establish the National Park Service. It was actually the 9th national park to be established, following Yellowstone, Sequoia, Yosemite, Mount Rainier, Crater Lake, Wind Cave, Mesa Verde, and Glacier. All of these parks have their own unique story of their founding, similar to Rocky Mountains, but eventually they all work together to establish the National Park Service. On August 25, 1916, the National Park Service was officially established through the signing of the Organic Act. This meant that all these national parks were officially protected under one government program. Since its establishment, the National Park Service has continued its mission to conserve land and educate visitors. Today, there are over 85 million acres protected under this government program, 63 national parks that attract over 300 million visitors annually. Going back to Rocky Mountain National Park, in the decades following its founding, infrastructure was built to support visitors. When the Great Depression hit, people needed work, so they turned to Rocky Mountain National Park, where they would live there and work on roads and visitor centers for guests to come visit. For the rest of the 20th century and into the 21st century, the park was a very popular tourist destination. Today, it attracts over 4 million visitors annually, making it one of the most visited national parks. Over 92 miles of paved roads allow visitors to appreciate the beauty of this land. But without the work of early 20th century conservationists, this land wouldn't be protected, and we wouldn't be able to appreciate the beauty of Rocky Mountain National Park like we do today.